Hi, welcome to Just Common Sense. My name's Brian Harrison. Guys, I've got Jerry on the line tonight. There's a lot going on right now, so there's no music. And look, I wasn't done with my studio yet because we're going to have thumbnails and all these news stories behind me and everything else. We're going to be done here in just a couple days. But right now, with everything that's going on, we need to be on. And right now, I'm going to say it this way. Right now, what I'm seeing going on in our country, it's been starting with many things. But last night, let's talk about it. 87,000 IRS agents. And some of them I'm hearing are going to be armed. I mean, what is the story behind this? Why? Why you need 87,000 IRS agents? And then the bill they passed last night is going to affect middle-class people more than anything on their taxes. Joe Biden is all part of this. This is a fact, okay? They're denying also what's going on in Florida right now with Donald Trump, the FBI going in there. Well, look, the FBI has already been going into Donald Trump's house. Donald Trump and them have let them in. They've looked at documents. They've looked at everything. This is just a dog and pony show. That's all this is, because they are so terrified that Trump is going to run in 24. You know what? I want to see Trump run in 24. I want to see DeSantis as vice president. And I want to watch all these crazy people out there who are radical left. I want to watch their hearts explode from panic. Because right now, what they're doing is cross the line with everything from last night to today. And I'm going to say it. I mean, Jerry, I'm trying to be nice here, and I blew up cussing today because I'll be honest, you know how I am. I don't like that. But to see what's going on right now, I mean, I heard Bongino was on Fox News, other news stations. He was actually upset. There's a lot of people upset. I'm getting text messages, calls from lots of people right now, and it's been going on ever since this stuff started. Let me tell you, when you have that many people calling, the Democrats just crushed themselves in November. They have crushed themselves. They will never have an opportunity to be in office again at this point. Now, I just don't see it unless they cheat, and that's the only way around it. And we will be watching. Go ahead, Jerry.
Or if they find something.
Which
I don't think that they will, because I don't think there's anything to be found.
Right.
I mean, it's like, it's unbelievable what just happened.
Yes.
And, if they find something, which, like I said, I don't think there's anything to be found, then, okay, that might help the Democrats. But I think you're right. I think that, if this turns out to be targeting, this is worse than Watergate. I mean, Watergate was a couple of rogue guys that broke into an office building and went through some file cabinets and a couple of desk drawers and stole and took some pictures of information about their political opponents so they could try and beat them in the election.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all that was.
Yeah.
This is literally weaponizing a department of law enforcement of the federal government against your political opponent. You're using the force of the federal. This is like what you see in Venezuela or Cuba or, something like that.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable.
And I'm sitting here right now, Jerry, you and I are talking, and people know this is going to be a big podcast tonight. I am having a lot of people kicking in and following me just now while you and I are talking. I've seen 30-some people kick in as soon as I started talking here. And they know this is getting ready to happen because I've already announced out there. This is really wild how this is going on because people are tired of this. People are tired of what's going on. And you have now stepped across the line with this. And I'm going to say it this way. You better have some proof. You better have some real factual proof to back what you're doing up down there. And it's not because it's not because of Donald Trump. It's because of many things that are going on we're seeing. Look, Joe Biden's got the lowest polls ever in history, ever. Also, we've got gas prices. Oh, yeah, gas prices went down. Whoopee. Are they really that low right now? No, they're
still
not.
Double what they were when he took office.
Absolutely, they are. And you know what he said a couple months back ago? I think it was about 2 or 3 months ago. He said he was going to reduce the taxes on gas to bring gas prices down. And he was going to do that for so many months. Well, guess what? Gas prices are down. Now, that could be a good chunk of it right there. But also, we got to look at what's happening in November. All they care about is staying in power. This is it. Staying in power. They forgot they're public servants. They forgot that they're employees of the people of the United States, and that's all they are. And I'll say it. I mean, seeing what's going on right now, and I'll probably, by the way, I'll probably get kicked off YouTube for permanently after this night. You know what, YouTube? I don't care. I've got other places to go because you're just as corrupt. I'll say it that way. We've seen it. You're just as corrupt.
Because they pretend to be telling the truth.
They're liars too. And I'll call the owner of Google out, or YouTube to say, yeah, come at me and say something because you don't have the guts to do it. You really don't. And I'll say it that. Come on and let's have a debate, coward. So anyway, I'll say it that way. I'm fired up tonight. So I'm tired of all this stuff. You know what, too, Jerry? And Jerry saw this. I'm going to say it. I'm not going to say the actual, I don't want to say the social media site because they haven't pulled me off yet. But I'll tell you what. On these social media sites, you know what? There is, and it's graphic. It is graphic. They're going to pull people off just talking like this. Well, guess what? I saw it. Jerry saw it. I sent it to a few of my friends and people out there. There was a guy in I think it was a jewelry store, and the security guard was sitting there. And you know what? The security guard, they show the cameras. Two guys come in, rob the security guard, or rob the place, and the security guard shoots one of the guys. It hit the guy in the neck. It really did. And guess what? It was so graphic. Blood was squirting everywhere. The guy was trying to still shoot the other guy, the bad guy, but at that point you could see it was just all over. The floors all over the place. It was like a horror movie the way it was squirting out. And he died right there. And you know what? This social media site has not pulled it down. They will not pull stuff like that down because you people out there are watching all this negative garbage are part of the problem. You really are. Stop watching the negative garbage. I had to just show it out there to show people what's going on. And I'm telling
Brian,
you.
I got to interrupt you here while we're talking. I just got a text message from a friend of mine that lives in Florida.
Yep.
Okay. And he just told me that on his local news that right now, thousands, not hundreds, thousands of people are literally headed over to Mar-a-Lago right now, citizens.
Yes.
And in addition to that, Trump is on his way from New York back to Florida.
Yes. And you're in my home state, by the way, Florida, guys. I support you.
I got to tell you something. If thousands of citizens are headed over there now, that's huge news.
Yeah, you want to hear the huge news? There's been talk about people talking about succession. You know what that brings up? Florida, Texas, other states. You're talking a lot of states run by Republicans right now. There's been talk about succession, and I'm hearing it from people. And this is absolutely uncalled for. We should not be doing this. We should not be doing this. And I'm sorry if I'm upset. I'm sorry if I got some of you followers upset because you're little, oh my gosh, I'm really upset over hearing Brian talk like this. Well, you know what? There's a point where you need to stand up. And you need to stand up. And yeah, they're scared in November. They're scared of 2024 right now. That's what all this is about. I'm telling you, I hope
anybody's upset with what you're saying more than they're upset with what happened today, then the good riddance to them. You don't need them anyways.
Yeah, I know.
That's my opinion. And because what that says is their party is more important to them than our country.
Their party is more important than the country. I've already seen Rob Reiner out there running his mouth today, laughing over it with this whole thing with Donald Trump. I mean, that guy's a joke anyway. You know what? Back in the show, he was called meathead because he is a meathead.
Exactly.
He really is. And, the guy who played Archie knew it. He really is a meathead. And he never went much after that anyway. So he's all talk. He's an old man with all talk. But that's all he is. I'm sorry, but I don't want to sound really angry, but I am angry when I start seeing what's going on, especially with last night, because you know what? Your taxes are going to get hit hard. Middle class taxes are going to get hit hard.
87,000 new IRS agents. Okay, that makes them the largest government agency out there. And they said that I forget they listed like 4 or 5 different departments in the government, like the Pentagon, the Treasury, and something else. And they said that the IRS will now be bigger than like all 4 or 5 of these departments combined.
It's crazy.
And when you mentioned something earlier, you were on a roll, so I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, go ahead.
But you were talking about the new IRS agents. Yeah. And, a lot of them will be armed.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my thought. All right. First off, why is any IRS agent ever armed?
Yeah.
Okay. Because if they've got a reason to arrest somebody, that's what the FBI is for.
Absolutely.
So if you're in the IRS, you don't need to be armed. What you need to do is you need to say, okay, you know what? This person broke the law. You need to go arrest him so we can prosecute him.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's like, here's what the IRS being armed reminds me of.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, there was an old movie with Sylvester Stallone called Judge Dredd. Did you ever see that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Where Judge Dredd, they were literally the judge, jury, and executioner.
Yep.
And, and they would go out there and they would stop somebody that was doing a crime and they would judge them right there on the spot and carry out the sentence right there on the spot.
Absolutely.
And if it was a bad sentence, then they would kill them right there on the spot. And that's kind of where our IRS has gone to, because if you think about it, the FBI is bad, but all the FBI can do is arrest you and throw you in jail.
Yeah.
The IRS can actually ruin you financially, or they could arrest you, or they could throw you in jail. I mean, they've got more power than the FBI does.
Yeah. I just don't know why they need so many. That's what I'm going to say about it, but they don't. They really don't. That's uncalled for. Plus, they got to pay all these people. Guess what? Where does it come from? Your taxes, people.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's why they had to have that huge spending bill.
Absolutely.
That just passed.
Well,
which,
a lot of
by
it.
the way, most of is green energy.
Climate change.
It's not even
green energy.
They're talking about, was it the Inflation Reduction Act, and it's like, but it's not really a Inflation Reduction Act. It's this is the back door for the Green New Deal.
Yeah. So I don't know what what DeSantis is going to say. I'm waiting to hear him come out. I'm sure he's going to do it tomorrow. I'm sure he's just getting all the evidence. He needs to be strong, very strong, because they are in your state right now. And I'm telling you, they better have some real evidence to back this up, because if they don't, they're going to look very bad. They really are.
If they don't, one of the things they just did is they just turned a lot of not Trump, but fence sitters over to Trump, because if there were people sitting on the fence and then this happens, a lot of those people that were sitting on the fence are going to be like, okay, we can't have this regardless of what party's in charge. We can't have this.
Absolutely crazy what's going on with this. I wanted to get my shows a little calmer. I wanted to talk about things and get into this. But when this happened tonight, I saw a lot of people out there. They're angry. They're upset. I've got people calling me, talking succession and a variety of things. It's crazy. I mean, I really do have people calling me about it. I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going to go down that road. I mean, that's, but people are getting, that's how people are getting upset. They really are. No, you don't want to go out there. I'm going to say, you don't want to go out there. You don't want to violently protest, do all that. I'm saying that. But again, people are out there doing this, and it's just like, it's crazy what's going on. I've never lived in America like this. I said this, if you remember, Jerry, in the beginning of this podcast, I said Rome fell. I did. And I said America's heading that way. Guess what? Yep. We're there. It is now at that point where it's pretty much fallen. If it has already fallen, I'm already seeing it.
Yep.
And I'm telling you what, I don't know how much, and I'll say it, we got China over there circling Taiwan right now. They were supposed to do these exercises in them yesterday. They're still going on. This is going to go on and on and on. You know what? Their whole goal is to take over Taiwan. If they take over Taiwan, guess what? You think chip's a problem now? Wait till that happens.
Oh, exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, not only that, but the thing is, if they take over Taiwan and we don't immediately eject them from Taiwan, which will be extremely costly and bloody.
Right.
If we don't immediately do that, we will never in our lifetime have another country trust us again.
Oh, I know. Absolutely not. And you know what? I'm wondering how
we already walked away from Afghanistan.
I know.
And, let that country fall.
Yeah.
We have, basically turned our back on Israel by allowing Iran to, get a nuclear weapon.
Yep.
We have, there's just so many things that we've done wrong, that, it's just no other country will ever trust us again.
Yeah, I know.
And
absolutely not.
See, that's the crazy thing.
I know.
I can't even argue that, like, well, there is no well, no. I mean, it's like, why would you trust us? I
know. Hey, one thing is the mayor of New York's upset right now because they're sending all kinds of immigrants.
You know what, though? I did a little digging on that.
Go ahead.
Here's how ridiculous that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not sending that many.
For years, like you and I talked about, for years, they bragged about we're a sanctuary city. And, as a matter of fact, they tried to give the vote to illegal aliens.
Yeah.
And, that got shot down by a judge.
Yeah.
But so, now he's like, oh, my gosh, the Texas is sending all these illegal immigrants up here and we can't do it. We need federal aid to handle it. Brian, I know that you were working earlier when, before you and I got a chance to talk.
Yeah.
Like, 60.
I knew it.
That's how many they sent.
Look,
I saw one bus of 60.
I know. And Jerry, the funny thing is I saw this couple of months back when they did this, and it was so few people, and they're just doing this. It's all publicity, people. That's
Brian,
all it is.
In a city of 10 million,
yes,
60 is nothing. I mean, you have more. Your variation in how many tourists you have every day is more than 60.
Oh, I know.
So 60 people in New York City, I'm sorry, that doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
So
I know. It's absolutely crazy what's going on. But I mean, to watch what's going on, and I don't know. We're just going to see what happens. I mean, I'm waiting to hear DeSantis talk. I don't know if he'll be on tonight, if he'll be on tomorrow. I'm sure he's going to be out there. Trump's already out there on Truth. He's already said some stuff.
Well, DeSantis needs to be furious
they
because
did
it in his state.
Yeah.
And, to do that in his state.
Yep. And what?
That's egregious.
And here's the thing. When you look at what's going on, this is what's freaking the Democrats out right now. They're seeing the primaries. They're watching what's happening. They're seeing everything turn red. They're seeing the Republicans starting to win everywhere right now.
Right.
And then they're doing just the opposite of what they should be doing. They just don't learn. And here they go again. I was thinking about this. Think about this, Jerry. Every time a Democrat is a president or running the country right now, every time except maybe once or twice, we'll let Clinton a little bit on that one, but the economy has always been an issue. Every time. Do you think that? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I
Majority.
Do agree with
There's
that.
been a few.
And here's what
times.
happens, though, is,
go ahead.
A lot of times what you'll get is like,
yep.
So the Democrats are running the country.
Yep.
And things are going good for the first few years,
right?
Because the Republicans teed it up for them.
Of course it did, but
and then what happens is by the time the Republicans get elected, then all the spending kicks in and all the taxes kick in, and and then we wind up going into some sort of recession. So basically what happens is a lot of times under Republicans we do have negative fiscal issues, but it's because of the way that it was set up. Like, for example, people talk about the spending that Reagan did. Yep. Well, the spending that Reagan did was to rebuild our military because Carter eviscerated it.
Exactly.
And it's like, so did we have to spend? Yeah, but it wasn't on social programs and it wasn't on, giving free stuff to people and everything like that. And it's like, see, when Republicans spend money, it's actually on stuff that we need usually. And I say usually because I guarantee there's something I could go out there and find where, it was reckless and irresponsible. But for the most part, that's how it works.
Yeah, but this time, guess what? Joe Biden got in office, and how fast did it change?
Oh, yeah, very quickly.
Different. Because you know why? Because it's socialism, or in my case, I call it communism. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. That's where we're heading. And you know what? I say China's somewhere got they're in somebody's pockets here, somewhere along the line.
You mean Hunter Biden?
Oh, far more than that. Hunter Biden's nothing compared to
you don't have to go much further than that. I mean,
you know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just the big guy. It's more people than that.
Well, no, I agree with you. I mean, they found that
I guarantee there's
what's her
something
name?
going on there.
Dianne Feinstein, her driver was a Chinese spy for like 10 years.
Yes, and we can go into
Eric Swalwell was sleeping with a Chinese spy.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like there's like all these other people in the Democrat Party that are tied in.
Yeah.
With actual collusion.
Yeah.
That have not been held accountable.
Right.
I mean, Swalwell's still on the Intelligence Committee.
Oh, I know.
I mean, my goodness, how do you do that?
Oh, I know.
You were sleeping with a Chinese spy. You compromised the country and national security, and you're on the Intelligence Committee.
Yeah.
The Foreign Intelligence. How does that work?
Yep. I'm reading about some of this stuff with this whole tax thing they passed last night with all this stuff going on, and this new bill they passed last night, and of course. A lot of the liberals out there are clueless when I watch. what they're saying. They're talking, oh, it's about big government. Or not big government, it's about big companies. They're going to be taking money away from the big companies. No, it's about also the middle class. And I've got to read more into this because I haven't had a chance. That's what I was going to do tomorrow is start reading into a lot of this stuff. And that was going to be part of my podcast in a few days because I told you guys I was going to start breaking these things down, dissecting these things, and actually showing articles, showing this. And that's what I'm working on. But again, this threw me off tonight. So I had to do a podcast real quick. I've got my studio kind of a mess everywhere else right now because we're working on this stuff. But that being said, I mean, it's just, we're going to watch what happens. I'm sure this is going to be on the news. Sad part of the news today is Olivia John passed away, and that's what I thought I was going to listen to tonight. I thought we were going to hear about Olivia Newton-John. We were going to hear about everything and have her, she was a great, great actor, singer, everything else. Guess what? Everybody loved her. She wasn't political. She was from another country. I get that, but still. I never heard her get into that. So, but that's been shadowed over just because of all this stuff going on. And I just, Jerry, I go back and I was saying that to somebody today. I said, I remember when Farrah Fawcett died and all of a sudden Michael Jackson died the same day. And it was like, hey, Farrah's going all right. I mean, they just overshadowed it. So, you there?
Yeah, well, you can mark it down that,
yep.
The day that, Olivia Newton-John died, so did America.
Yeah. She's probably, I hate to say it, I'm sure she's not happy to see any of this stuff going on right now.
Yep.
I mean, she was a good person. Everybody loved her. Good everything about her. You can't say anything bad. John Travolta came out and said something. I was going to find out what he said, but he said all good stuff, obviously. He was one of her good friends.
Of course,
he loves her. And it's a sad day to see that happen. So I just wanted to bring that up as well. As far as what's going on, we'll keep everybody private, what's going on out there. If anything changes, then we'll be jumping back on a podcast here. But right now, for everybody out there, I know a lot of you are frustrated. I have people calling me, texting me. Everything's blowing up on me today after all this started. And I'm just saying, guys, just let things go through. Let's see what happens, and don't get out there and get radical. And don't cause violence. I'm going to say it. Don't get out there and do that right now. We need to sit back, watch what goes on. Let the governors handle this. Let the Justice Department. I'm not thrilled with. Hey, by the way, I heard something about defund the FBI. That may be the next thing if they're going to do this. I don't know. I've heard somebody said that. Oh, I know. Marjorie Taylor Greene said that.
November can't come quick enough.
I know. And they know it, and that's why they're doing this, because it can't come quick enough. And I want to say this, too, by the way. We're going to talk about January 6th for a minute. I do want to talk about this, because we're going to talk about what's going on up there. Obviously, the only Republican is Liz Cheney in there, by the way. Did you know that? I heard that.
And Adam Kinzinger.
Adam Kinzinger. Okay, there's two. But that's it. Jim Jordan wanted to be part of that. Nancy Pelosi says no. These people that Nancy Pelosi said no to are the ones that wanted to go ahead and fight against this and say, hey, we need to show all evidence, but they don't want that. They want to control their little puppets, the two up there, because they know they can do it. And obviously, look what it's done to Liz Cheney, because she won't win. There's no way. I've seen
She's down 36 points.
Way down. Absolutely. And everybody, they've been doing
when I
interviews.
say down, I mean like 36 points behind the person she's running against.
Yeah, I know. But
did you hear what she did today?
What'd she do today?
She went out and started a campaign in Wyoming where she is telling Democrats to go switch their voter affiliation and vote for her in the primary. So she's telling Democrats, go register as a Republican and vote for me in the primary.
Wonderful.
Yeah, exactly.
That's corrupt. That's the kind of person Liz Cheney is right there.
Yeah,
that tells you.
Think about that. Not only is that corrupt, but
it's not legal.
Right in your face, out in the open.
It shouldn't be legal. But again.
I mean, where's the House Ethics Committee, or the Senate Ethics Committee? I mean, it's like she actually went public with that today.
Wow, I am watching my phone blow up right now. I'm sitting here literally watching this right now, and I am watching people out there live. They're trying to get me to join their podcast. They are trying to get me. They're talking. I mean, literally, one here has got 1,132 people trying to. They're trying to get me to jump into their podcast right now, Jerry. I got another one with 98 people. That's not that big. Another one with 562 people. I'm literally looking at these things going on live and streaming right now, and they want me to jump on their podcast right now with them. I'm telling you, this is the craziest thing. I mean, every Republican is out there right now. I've never seen anything blow up like this all over Twitter, Facebook, everything. And I'm telling you, it is blowing up right now.
Well, one reason you've never seen anything like this is because nothing like this has ever happened. No former president or sitting president has ever had their home raided by the federal government.
Yeah, and let's talk about one thing. When you got the federal government that can go into a president, like this, Donald Trump, for example, what do you think they can do to you?
Yep.
You're nothing. I mean, that's the way they look at it. They can go in like, boop, that's it.
Like I said, Trump was there yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. Now, something like what happened today.
Yeah.
You're not just sitting around the lunch table saying, we should throw a couple hundred guys on a plane and fly down to Florida.
This was planned.
And go raid Trump's house. This has been planned for weeks, if not months.
Yes, this was planned.
And they knew that he wouldn't be there because as a former president, his Secret Service has to file when they're going to move and where they're going to go and how they're going to travel because they have to have the proper security in place. And so this was something that was known before the raid. So, they had this all planned. They could have just showed up yesterday and knocked on the door with a search warrant in hand and said, hey, you know what? We got the search warrant. We're coming in.
Yep.
All right. And then they could have gone in. And if Trump didn't let them in, then they could have done the forceful entry.
Yeah, but Trump has been letting them in. He's been very nice about it.
Exactly. And it's like, and that's the point. And that's why he's so upset right now is he's given them access to most of the things that they've asked for. And the ones that they have asked for that he didn't give them access to were things that a judge said they weren't entitled to.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sitting here watching. I saw the governor of Arizona and all these people. I mean, we'll say the new governor of Arizona. She should win. But however, she's out there right now. I am seeing this thing explode right now about everything. And I'm seeing everybody out there. I'm telling you what, the only one I'm not seeing right now is the governor of Texas and DeSantis. I don't see him right now because I think they're holding back.
I think they're waiting to see what everybody says. Yeah.
Right. They know what to do. They are sitting back. Mark Gates, thank you, by the way. I see what you're saying out there. Mark Gates, I stand with Trump as well right now. What's going on? The whole country is going to go, and I do. I'm going to say I stand with Trump right now. What's going on? Unless you have some real proof of something, because you know what? I look at this, what's going on. It was peaceful protests. He said it a bunch of times. And you know what? You guys have proven a point how bad and corrupt things are getting right now. And they can come get me at my house for saying all this or my studio. And I'm telling you what, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to say. But listen to this stuff, seeing all this going on. I mean, literally, Jerry, I really do. I have people going at me right now, texting me like, it's crazy.
Yep.
They're panicked. I mean, I was talking to Paul tonight. He's been on the show too. He said his phone's exploding right now. And, I'm going to see, I want to see what, our lieutenant governor says about all this too, because he put a statement out yesterday. I don't think we even
need to hear that. We already know.
We know what he thinks.
He's going to be,
but he'll be out there
horrified by this.
Oh yeah, he's going to be saying, "I told you I was right." This is where he's going with it. I'm sure. I am that. So guys, I'm sitting here looking at my phones, what I'm doing, and watching all this stuff, and it's just crazy what's going on out there. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. So I mean. I'm looking at Marjorie Taylor Greene. She was going to be out there. I'm still looking for Jim Jordan. He hasn't made a comment that I see yet. But he will be, I'm sure. He'll be out there. Varadium will be out there. This is going to be a long night to see what's going on. Just saw something. Washington. Apparently, it looks like Joe Kent in Washington, a GOP. He's the winner. There you go. Another red one, guys. Oh, my gosh. It's just exploding. Hey, they were right. They were going to see a country of red when the Republicans win. It's red. Thank you, Joe Biden. You actually helped everybody.
Not just red, but I mean, you got to remember that the record that Trump has amassed with people that he's backing
is
quite impressive. I mean, I forgot the exact number, but it's like of the people that he has endorsed in the primary elections, something like 132 have won and 17 have lost. I mean, it's like this 90+% success rate of people that he's endorsed, which, that should tell everybody that, right now he's pretty doggone popular, if that's what's happening.
Yep. I mean, here you got Nancy Pelosi talking right now. I just saw a comment from her. It's basically going from COVID to jobs to to all this stuff that they're straightening out right now. Also, taking guns off the street. She's talking about all this stuff right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? I mean, right there is your proof, guys, right there. What they're trying to do. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm just sitting here and I'm going to be joining some of these people tonight. I'm going to have to. Anyway, any more on this, Jerry? Because I'm sure I'll be shut off YouTube tonight, and I don't care. So I'll be. I've got so many other spots.
When this first came out, I thought it was a joke.
Yes,
and I thought the person was going to say something like, like when they announced the raid, I thought they were going to say, and this is what you might hear in November if the Republicans don't take the House and the Senate, whatever. Yeah. I thought it was some sort of a joke, but to find out that it's real and it actually happened, just blows my mind. And as you know, I lost faith in the FBI a while back, and so I think they're, basically just the security arm of the Democrat Party at this point. And, if I knew somebody that was in the FBI, I would unapologetically tell them that if they didn't find a new job, then I have no respect for them. And, people like to say, oh, well, the individual agents, they're good. You know what? If they're not standing up to their supervisors, then they're just as bad. Yeah. And so, and right now, the guys that carried out that raid, guess who those are? Those are the individual agents. Yeah. If they carried out that raid, then they're complicit. And so, and nobody's going to be held accountable for it. Nope. At least not until Republicans. But here's one thing. I'll make a prediction for you.
Yep.
Okay. If the Republicans take the House and the Senate in the fall, and they do nothing to hold the Democrats accountable for all the egregious things they've done over the last couple of years, the Republican Party will cease to exist as we know it.
Right.
And, and I think it'll be a long time before any Republican gets elected president or to any major, post. And so, because I got to tell you something, I'm at my breaking point.
Yes.
And as you know, I already changed my political affiliation to unaffiliated because I don't want to be associated with the Republican Party because, John Boehner, then Paul Ryan, and, all these people that are not doing anything.
Right.
And, all they do is talk big and run their mouth, Lindsey Graham, runs his mouth, doesn't do anything.
Right.
And, and I got to tell you, Lindsey Graham's made some great speeches and I was really a fan of his.
Oh, yeah.
Until I realized that all he did was speak.
Talk.
And so, but that's what I'll go ahead and leave out there.
Yeah.
That, if the Republicans take power in the fall and do nothing with it, they have destroyed their party.
They have. And you got to,
unless one thing could save it. And that's if Trump jumps in and says, you know what, I've had enough. I am the Republican Party right now. If he jumps in and takes over, then that could save him. But even that might not be enough.
Oh, yeah, I know. And you know what? I mean, if you're going to, I've said it before, if you're going to talk the talk, you better walk the walk with it. You know what I mean? You've got to stand behind what you say because lip service is cheap. And that means you're a liar if you're not going through with it.
Yep.
So that's it.
Well, the two biggest mistakes that were made by the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll say the Trump because it wasn't him personally, but his administration. The biggest mistake, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion. It's not going to be anything you're going to find written on a stone tablet anywhere.
I know.
But, the biggest mistake, in my opinion, was he ran in 2016 chanting, lock her up, lock her up, lock her up, and then didn't do anything. But he did it as a almost like a conciliatory gesture, like, hey, you know what? She's already gone through enough. She lost the election. She's not going to be president. It's rough enough on her. So, I don't want to, rub salt in that wound. I don't want to divide the country further. But there was a lot of people that voted for him simply because he was going to finally hold Hillary Clinton accountable, and people went to see that. That was, in my opinion, the biggest mistake that was made by the Trump administration, is not at least investigating her and then letting the Justice Department do their job. The second biggest mistake was Jeff Sessions as Attorney General recusing himself when the Russia collusion thing was brought up because had he stayed on, we would have never gotten Rod Rosenstein as the deputy attorney general.
Yep.
And so he's the one that decided on the special counsel and put the Robert Mueller investigation in motion.
Yep.
Had Jeff Sessions not recused himself,
Yep.
we would have never had the Mueller investigation. We would have never had an impeachment. So we would have prosecuted Hillary and we would not have had the impeachment. So those two things were, in my opinion, huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I mean, we're just going to have to see what happens over the next couple of days. Just make sure you sit back, listen to everything, watch everything. For those of you, I know there's thousands of you going down to Florida, is what Jerry just said. He just caught that. I'm going to be listening to the news tonight. But again, just if you're going to be down there, definitely let everything go on down there. I mean, don't get crazy down there. Do everything peacefully.
This isn't people going to Florida. This is that many people that are already there heading over to Mar-a-Lago.
I understand that, Jerry. That's what I meant. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying with that. I'm saying basically, don't interpede. Don't get involved in the investigation. Just stay away from there. I mean, you can stay out there and protest peacefully. That's fine. But again, let them do their investigations because I'm curious what they're going to say about it all. I want to see. They're going to hurt themselves without any proof if they can't find real factual proof of this stuff that's not made up or anything. I want to
find what they based the warrant on.
I do.
Because if they based the warrant on this reporter claiming that she saw them stuffing papers in the toilet, okay, Brian, you've been a homeowner long enough to know, and I've been a homeowner long enough to know.
Shove that in the toilet.
You put more than 2 pieces of paper in the toilet, okay, that toilet's not going to flush.
No.
And so she's claiming they were cramming papers, and not toilet paper, but like documents in the toilet and flushing them. You can't do that. It doesn't work.
Try it yourself. How many toilets get clogged up with toilet paper itself even?
As a matter of fact, right now, if there's any Democrat voters listening, I know that you're willing to try this. So go to your toilet, take about 6 or 7 pieces of paper and stick them in your toilet and then flush your toilet and see what happens. And then email Brian and tell him what happened.
I'm sorry. I was having a different visual when you said for a Democrat to flush something down the toilet. I can't say it. I'm trying to be nice for the radicals. Yep. And there's some radicals right on out there. We know that. But again, this is the first time this has ever happened, anything like this. And look, it just shows you how things are going. And
this is how corrupt our government has gotten.
Right. And this is Joe Biden bringing unity to our country. No, this is Joe Biden doing the worst thing of all. Joe Biden is now worse than Jimmy Carter or any president ever in history. I'm telling you, ever in history.
Joe Biden's White House claiming that they didn't know this was going on.
Lies.
There was no possible way that they didn't know this was happening. There is no way that you raid the home of a former president who's probably going to be your opponent in 2 years.
Yep.
And you didn't know about it.
Right. Absolutely. And let me ask you another question. So let's talk about the one other thing with Joe Biden. Let's talk about this. So he's gotten COVID twice, whatever. Look, I'm going to say it. We talked about it. I talked about this. Jerry went on that night, but I talked about this because my own wife had to go through this. Yes, we had COVID. Okay. It was miserable, but just like the flu and everything else, that was a miserable one. But my wife actually got on this Paxil. I can't remember the name of the medicine, something like that. But
the drug that Joe Biden took.
Yeah, it's the same drug Joe Biden took. And what the doctor said to her is, you could take this because there's a lot of side effects they worry about, but they're saying there could be a relapse. And that's what happened here probably with Joe Biden. That's what's been said. And yes, there was a relapse. But let me ask you another question. How long was he in quarantine? Because after he got the relapse, he was in quarantine for more than 5 days because you know what? My understanding, because when I got it and everybody else got it, 5 days, you're fine. You're not going to spread it anymore. That was it. That's by the CDC guidelines. Am I correct on that, Jerry? And they kept him in there. Why were they hiding him?
That's the way I understand it.
And why were they hiding him? What was the deal? They just didn't want him to talk? Is that really it?
Well,
I'm just asking.
I've had that conversation. I personally
don't know.
I thought it might have been a conspiracy theory the first time he got COVID because he had just returned from that disastrous trip to the Middle East. And so, all of a sudden he comes back and then instead of holding a press conference, he magically has COVID and can't, talk to the press.
Right.
He can film a video of him talking, but he can't take any questions. So then what happens is then just about the time that he's supposed to come back, oh gosh, he tested positive again. So we're going to quarantine him for another week, and it's like we got to take him out. And no, wait a minute, wait for it. And then he tested positive a third time.
Right.
How do you test positive 3 times in a month?
Well, hold on, Jerry. This is where I was going to go with that, because my doctor, and I've heard it from many doctors, they say even though you're not contagious, some people can stay positive for 30 plus days, and it can happen.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. He wasn't staying positive.
Yeah.
Because if he stayed positive, they would just say, yeah, he's still testing positive. But the terminology they used was he tested positive again.
Yes.
Okay. So not still, but again. And, I know that sometimes people say, hey, words, oh, you're splitting hairs and everything.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm splitting hairs on that.
No.
Because, in the beginning when people said, oh, he doesn't really have COVID, they just don't want him talking to the press because he had a bad trip to the Middle East. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, the guy might have it.
I think he had it, actually. I'm going to say he had it.
Well, I think he had it too.
Yeah, I think it was the medication. Everything.
The thing is, I think the second and maybe the third time that they were I think the first time he got it, they were kind of like, whew, now he doesn't have to go talk to the press. Cool, man. And it's like, but then I think the second and then the third, I think that was more, hey, we just need this guy to stay out of the public eye. And and I gotta tell you something, I laughed the other day so hard when I saw him come out in his little Top Gun sunglasses. I was like, what a moron.
When he pulled them off when his dog was in front of him, like he was like, did you see that? When he was doing that thing? Oh my gosh, I laughed so hard. Are you trying to look like you're tough in those things? Because you're not a pilot. You don't look that tough. You're a wannabe pilot. Oh, and one last thing, by the way, Nancy Pelosi, and it's out there, by the way, she said that she feels close to the Chinese people because when she was growing up as a young child, she said that her parents told her she could dig her way to China. Therefore, she feels close to the Chinese people. That's not a joke. That really is. She said that.
She actually said that.
100%. I saw it.
Oh. My gosh. Just when I thought I couldn't think anything less of her.
Before YouTube pulls me, go ahead and look at that on YouTube.
I had no idea. I knew
absolutely
she wasn't that
out there. Absolutely. Everybody's been talking
evil and
about
corrupt,
it.
But I knew she wasn't that intelligent. But I mean, if she actually said that she feels close to the Chinese people because when she was a kid that happened.
I heard it from a reporter.
My parents told me the same thing, but that never made me like or dislike.
No, I didn't like people. Chinese people. I love. It's not that. It's just the government we don't like down there, and they're bad to their own people. We know that.
But I mean, something like that. I mean, that's. There's no reason to say that you like or dislike.
Yeah.
Well, you want to talk about talking out of both sides of your mouth. She goes to Taiwan and tells Taiwan that we won't let China do anything to them. And now she says she feels close to the Chinese people because she used to think that you could dig all the way through the earth and come out of China.
That's that's right. You got that one right.
Wow. Oh, by the way, the other night, Trump was doing his rally in Wisconsin, and I didn't watch the whole thing because I've watched a few of his rallies and I've been to one. And, but I was watching a little bit of it, see, what he had to say. And he had a few things new to say.
Yep.
And what was great was there was this guy just over Trump's left shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see any pictures from this rally in Wisconsin, you'll see him. He's wearing like a checkered fedora hat, but his shirt says "Arrest Dr. Fauci" and has a picture of Fauci on it. And he was standing behind Trump the whole rally.
That's funny.
It was hilarious.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys, as always, I want to thank our law enforcement for everything you do out there.
Except the FBI.
Except what's going on down there. Okay, well, they've lost some respect, especially if that happens down there and they don't have proof of anything. And again, I want to thank our military for everything you guys do. Remember, you do protect the Constitution of the United States. So thank you for that. Also, I want to protect too. No, I want to thank our first responders for everything you do. I want to thank our truck drivers for everything you do, our farmers for everything you do right now. We know you're going through a lot with droughts, fires, just like always right now, especially in California. I'm sure if you have farms out there.
On the floods in Kentucky.
There's a lot going on right now. And again, food prices going up that you're having to deal with as well because you're having to do a lot. And again, all the farmers that deal with cattle, beef, chicken, everything right now, there's a lot going on with that as well. And the people are still out there not wanting to work. I actually went into a restaurant Saturday night that usually stays open till 12 o'clock on Saturday night, a drive-through restaurant. And they were closing at, 7 o'clock on a Saturday.
Wow.
Because they couldn't get any staff. And this has been going on everywhere. Also, when you look at more and more videos out there, I've been seeing a lot more violence, and especially in New York City, Chicago. There's been all kinds of videos coming out. And, of course, they're playing them on social media, so you get to see them, and then you can leave them there. Some of them are not good. I do not like these videos out there. They're not good for children. And they're not good for some adults out there as well. So, guys, as I'm always saying, peacefully protest out there if you're going to protest, but let these investigations go through, because I think at the end of it, it's just going to make the Democrats even look worse than they are and stupid. I think they're just so freaked out. Donald Trump's going to most likely, he's going to run. We know he's going to run again. And they know it.
Oh, absolutely.
So
I don't think there's any question.
He's not going doing all these rallies for nothing. He just isn't going to announce it until, I would say, I think he'll announce it the day after, maybe a couple days in November after everybody gets through see who's going to be where. And I think that's what he's waiting for.
Well, see, part of the reason he's not announcing he's running too, though, Brian, is that once he announces he's running, there's a lot of restrictions on his campaign finances, and like all these rallies he's holding. Yeah, he would have to, basically use that out of campaign funds, and he would have to list so many different things, like how did he arrive there, and who did he bring as a guest, and blah blah blah. And it's like, so by him doing it as a private citizen, he actually gets to get his name out there and get on television and everything like that, and not have to be pursuant to a lot of the campaign finance law.
And there's also another thing with that, Jerry. Huckabee said it the other day. I was listening to him. Maybe it was this morning it was this morning. Huckabee said that he even talked to Trump about this, about not going out there and saying he's running until after November, only because if he does that, he's going to take focus off of the people that are running in November.
I fully
and pull
agree.
a lot away from that.
Well, not only that, there's no reason for him to run if the Republicans don't take back over, the House and the Senate. I mean, if he's not going to have the support in place,
Jerry, please don't say that. I almost had a heart attack when you said that. If they don't win I literally almost had a heart attack.
But I mean, if they don't, though, I mean, why would he?
And how is that? And I'm like, how would they not win?
I don't know, but cheating like last time. But
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I don't know. All right,
not to start a whole new show, but just remember, I'll just reiterate that. He got the most votes of any incumbent president in history, and Biden supposedly beat him easily. Yeah. I doubt it.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, guys, just want to thank everybody for listening, and give me a couple days, unless something gets crazy again. I may be on tomorrow, it depends, but we're really trying to get things running up here differently. I've already got many people involved in a few things here, and it's going to be much better when I get running. Yes, I'll be editing some stuff for a change. I'll still be doing my stuff live like this, or, but again, editing some things. But anyway, thanks for listening. God bless you. God bless America. And God bless everything that's going on, especially with Trump and everything right now. We'll see what happens down there. And I'm telling you, DeSantis, please get out there and talk to everybody. If it's tomorrow, I understand. I'm sure he's going to watch the investigation. Some of those governors are sitting back watching because they want to see what happens. But anyway, have a good night, guys. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.